things. But we're live on the air. So welcome to this week's show. This is episode number 166. This is a banter show, which means that we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. And I love these shows because we get to think outside the box a little bit, and it's kind of in between our photo challenges, so we can hopefully give a little bit of inspiration to help with the photo challenge, which currently the photo challenge is RAW. And photography, there's always a big debate, RAW versus JPEG. And that's a debate that we don't really get into because I think all get it. Don't you think, Phil?
I think so. Without getting too far into it, there's advantages and disadvantages to both. Mm-hmm. And it really depends, what you want out of your pictures and the amount of back work that you want to actually put into your pictures. And I mean back work as far as what you're going to do after you actually take the shot. Like, do you want to spend time, 6-7 minutes on going through and finding pictures and opening them up in software, or do you just want to click through, find the one you want, edit it, go from there? So it really depends.
It really does depend. But the cool thing is today's RAW discussion has nothing to do with raw photography or raw images or any of that. Our guest, Walter. Good day, sir. Excellent. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. This is exciting.
Cool. So for those of you who don't know, and probably most of you don't yet, but you will, Walter does this great thing, his business called RescueOp.com, and he does some great stuff, great work for dogs. And he was in our store. He was in Henry's 2 weeks ago, a week and a bit ago.
About a week ago, yeah.
And we were just chatting, just random chat. This is what we do. We chat all day long. And we start talking, and he tells me about he's into pet food, and he's doing video blogging. And I was trying to help him, this is what I do. I have a show like this, and this is the camera I use, and this is the mic I use, and so on. And then he mentioned that he is an advocate for raw foods for dogs. And I thought, come on. This is like perfect timing. This is kismet here. Talking about raw foods for dogs. I'm one guy who I hear a photo challenge called RAW, and the last thing I think is RAW versus JPEG. I'm thinking something outside the box, and this totally fell in my lap. Combining with the fact that you like to shoot video, which is neat. So first, before we get into this whole show and we kind of go away from what you're going to talk about, why don't you give us a brief understanding of what RescueOp.com is, and in case people tune out halfway through, what do you do with the dogs and raw food? Just like a brief synopsis of that.
Okay, so RescueUp.com is an organization. We sell pet supplies. We also rescue animals. We rescue dogs that need help, that have been abandoned or abused. We also are a financial assistance. We try to help out rescues that are non-for-profit. Basically, we just try to help however we can. Every portion of, 10% of every portion of every sale goes to an animal in need. So we try to give back the best that we possibly can. But basically, we just want to help and do whatever we can just to kind of, make that dent, just to kind of help animals. Mm-hmm. The raw food part comes in where we first got our two dogs. We have two Rottweilers right now. Rosie is 2 and Gunner is 6. We got them when they were both a year old from a different organization. We weren't doing this at the time, and she was telling us that the raw dog food is what she feeds her dogs, but she encouraged us to go online and do some homework and see what we could come up with. And after speaking to a lot of different people that are in the industry, professionals, trainers, vets, we found that the raw dog food was something that is a good fit for our family and for our dogs.
That's interesting. It has to be a good fit because maybe this isn't right for everybody.
Yes. Yeah, there are some pros and cons to it. The pros are, their coats are nice and shiny, their breath doesn't smell as bad, their teeth are white. It's easier to put on weight or take weight off if they're overweight or whatnot. They're a little more energetic. It's one of those things where we've seen that with our dogs. And then some of the cons are if you don't have a home where if you have a really busy household, you have to be careful with it because it is raw food. So you have to make sure that you have a system. We use the same Tupperware all the time. We have a system. We clean right after. Those few small, if you can get over those hurdles, then you can definitely go the raw way. But it's something that I get asked everywhere I go, every pet expo that I do. I get emails all the time about it, asking me what I feed my dogs and how do they do it, because a lot of people aren't sure about it. And then online, there's different things online.
Oh, don't even talk to me about
good or bad.
Yeah. Everybody has one.
This is my personal opinion. My wife and I, this is what we do. Works for us. If someone is thinking about changing over to raw, then they need to contact an industry professional or someone that can definitely dip into it a little bit deeper for them. But this works for us and for our dogs, and we've seen a great change with them.
That's fair. That's awesome. Okay, well, we will talk about it more. We'll get more into it. But first of all, welcome. And thank you for being on the show, and relax and enjoy.
Thank you for having me. This is exciting.
It's fun, eh?
This is good.
Cool. Awesome. All right, well, we'll get back to you in just a few seconds. Phil, has anything new or exciting happened in your world this week?
Not really that exciting. Just trying to put some plans together, make things go.
Phil's
did a video course.
photography coming soon. That's not exciting.
Maybe. Let's see.
What's all that?
It's only been what I've had, working on for the last couple months. So I figure if I put it up, then I'll have the pressure to actually, put up a site or actually, start it again. Yeah. So that's my plan. We'll see how well it works.
Okay, cool.
But I did a video course on Sunday, and it was a lot of fun because video is always the one thing that our cameras can do these days that I don't really spend a huge amount of time thinking about. But practicing a couple things and getting a little bit more kind of into it, mainly to get organized and everything for this course, I had a lot of fun just simply playing around with the video aspect. And so I think that's something that I want to experiment a little bit more. I know that we did a little bit of a video a while ago, January, December.
Yeah, it was before we had snow, so I would say November is probably when we did it. September or November or something like that.
Okay, and it was you were directing everything, and but it was a lot of fun to shoot, and so I'm looking forward to maybe trying out a couple other similar things to that as far as actually putting my camera into practice.
Yeah, I know that's a very underutilized feature in most of our cameras is the video part of it. I don't think many of us use it to its fullest. No. That's a whole different show. I think we should really get into that DSLR video. Maybe bring Pete McKinnon on for that. That'd be really cool.
I was thinking that because he, out of everyone that at least I know, he's the guy that took the DSLR video idea and ran with it and ran into some beautiful clips, beautiful things he's put together. So I think he's a great person to get on.
Well, we'll see what we can do.
Nail him down.
If Pete's watching. All right, so we've got a bunch of people who've already said hi to us. Heather, hello, how you doing? Sheila is watching. Thank you. Christine is watching. Good evening to you. Jerry, thank you for watching, Jerry, and Andrew as well. And Nick does stuff. So Nick does stuff. This leads into my awesome news, which I did this week, which I'll get into a little bit more later on. But I got an opportunity to teach a team photography program for McMichael Art Gallery Monday and Tuesday, and it was just like spur of the moment. They emailed me, I think, or called me on Wednesday last week, and then I confirmed it on Thursday, and so it's like less than a week to prepare. But man, these guys were incredible. Nick, the guy who is here, Nick does stuff. We call him Bagel Boy, because we're talking about food, and somebody says, I could bake, and he goes, I can make bagels. What 15-year-old boy knows how to make bagels? Nick does. Guy's awesome. Really great group of kids. Emil, lots of other, Kiara, so many other great people. Richard, they were all in this group, and young adults, like they were 12 to 15 years old, but I swear, these kids picked up information faster than I was prepared for. I had 2 days planned. 2 full days planned, and we finished everything in the first day. So, and Nick says he gained so much knowledge in the course. That's an inside joke. Knowledge is every time they'd learn something. You know how we say there's aha moments? Did you get a nugget? Well, this was knowledge. Every time they learned something, knowledge. Anyway, it was fun. A lot of fun. You guys are great. Thank you for watching, Nick, and to the rest of everybody who's watching too. We're going to get to the show in just a second, but first I'd like to remind everybody to check out the community on Google+. If you haven't joined already, please do so. It's a lot of fun. It's a safe environment for anybody who's into photography. There's no ego, there's no attitude, and if we get any of that going on, pluck it out like a weed. Don't need that stuff in my life at all.
You agree?
That's the kind of thing I think, Walter, you were a little bit thinking about too, is you don't know how people are going to take you when you do these shows. You don't know how people are going to perceive what you're trying to do, and there could be blowback sometimes, but I think ultimately what we have to remember is we're trying to be honest, we're trying to do a good service for people, and if we can keep that going, it doesn't matter if people say or do anything negative, we're still doing what's right. And that's why I like doing this show. So I don't stress about any of those things. We're good people. We don't worry about that. And also, just to remind everybody else, all you other good people, check out our YouTube channel and subscribe to it and tell the world about it. Share it with your friends. We have 166 shows that we've done, or including tonight at least. That's quite a few shows. We've got lots of different things that we've covered. Go back and check our backlog, and don't watch everything, because, I mean, 2 hours per video is...
It's a long time.
We started off really long. Hopefully we won't go too long tonight. And to make it quicker, I'm just going to remind please join the Q&A. There's quite a few people who've already said hi. If you are into our conversation tonight and have something to add, please click on the Q&A on our window. Type in what you want to say. We will see it. We'll be able to answer your questions if you have questions about raw food for your dogs. If your dogs say hello, whatever. Just say hi. Do what you got to do.
Especially if the dogs say hello.
Yeah, especially if dogs say hello. This is going to be a dog special. I think this show is going to the dogs already. Yes. That's what happens normally. And of course, I just really want to give a quick thank you so much to our sponsors. Sennheiser, who is our latest sponsor, who I'm still so excited about because I've always loved Sennheiser products. The microphones, the labs, the headphones. You've got a set of headphones there, Phil.
I do. Got my Sennheiser HD 203s on.
These
I
are
don't
the
have them
280.
on right now. They work great. I actually got these back when I first got the 5D Mark II because I was like, hey, I'm going to do a lot of video. I need headphones to edit video with. I've used the headphones a lot more than I've used the video function.
Just for music, yeah. These
yeah.
things sound so good. I'm so impressed. For a $120 pair of headphones, I've not heard a better set. But one thing I am happy about, and sorry, Sennheiser, I'm going to kind of quickly go away. I did find my little Bose mini ear headphones, and I was really stressing about that because I can't go and get another set of those. They're so cool. Anyway, I also want to thank Gentech, Sigma lenses. We get these lenses for all our day trips. We've got some big stuff coming up. I'm going to announce some of those things later on. But I do want to remind everybody that the Waterfalls Algonquin session is coming up pretty quick. It's April 24th. We're going up bright and early to get sunrise at a waterfall. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you're interested, check out www.daytripperphoto.com. Got to go in front of the mic here to do this. Yoink. And check that out. There's a lot of other sessions. The Navi New Masterclass is coming up on April 16th. Portrait photography by our good friend Navi. Should be a lot of fun. All right. What do you say we get to the meat and potatoes of the show?
Sounds good.
Cool. All right, so this Raw Banter show, we're going to quickly go over some new products, some cool stuff in the industry. We're going to talk about a little bit of news. Going to get back into that whole McMichael Art Gallery thing because I had too much fun. Seriously, too much fun. And then we're going to get more into RescueOp.com because I think we need to spend a lot of time talking about that. It's really cool. First, there's a new lens. It is the widest. That was very awkward. The widest one-to-one macro for full-frame cameras. It's a 15mm macro lens. Now, this is something I think Sean Johnston should be listening to right now if he's watching, because he's been looking for a really good wide lens, and this is a macro, a true one-to-one. Now, you've got to be millimeters away from your subject, but it's pretty cool. I mean, think about taking a picture of, I don't know, this with a super wide macro. Oh, can't even hold these things. I need like pliers or something. This thing. It's a little zombie head, but it's never going to focus, so I'll just eat it anyway. Yeah, so these things, wide macros, excellent idea. This is from Venus Laowa. How would you pronounce that, Phil?
Probably about the same.
Venus Laowa.
In the ends, we'd have an A and Lua.
So, this is what I'm talking about right
Luau.
Yeah, it's a Luau.
Luau.
F4 lens, wide-angle macro, and apparently it's quite good quality. Now, it would be manual focus, but for a macro lens to be that wide, I can think of a lot of really cool possibilities to do with it. And you pointed this out earlier, Phil. It's pretty much got like a tilt shift effect.
It does, which I'd be really curious to see how all that actually functions. But if you scroll down a little bit, they have some examples with like buildings and a building that looks suspiciously a lot like one in Whitby, but I know that's not where DP review's from. But it's really interesting that it actually has like a way to correct that part of the picture.
So there's the regular right there, and then when it does the shift, it straightens it right out. Excellent stuff. So that's something that a lot of real estate agents could use, a lot of macro photographers, like in this case here.
Especially because it's so wide that you normally get a lot of distortion, a lot of bending with a wide-angle lens. So if you can correct it a little bit, any little bit helps. And if you can do it in field, it always saves you time.
Mm-hmm. And it's got a 110-degree field of view, which is pretty crazy.
Ridiculous.
All right, so that's one really cool little gizmo that's out there in the world.
I do also want to say, so this one has like a tilt shift built into it. But if you want a little bit more information on tilt shifts, but a couple weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago, we had an entire course based on tilt shifts. Lots of great information on it. So check out the YouTube back catalog if you're a little bit more interested in tilt shift.
Good point. Thank you for that. Yeah, Don Komarechka was on that show.
Yes, he was. Tons and tons of great information.
For sure. Very cool. Also, we talked about this before, I think in brief, but there's a... Oh, sorry, before we get to that, sorry, there's another lens from this company, Venus Laowa. It's a 105mm f2. So it's another one of those crazy lenses, but it's more of a portrait than a macro.
Full frame as well?
This, I believe, is full frame.
Okay.
Yeah, double check that now.
I'll double check later.
All right, cool. But it's got this special element built into it. It's an apodization element. Thank you. I know. I didn't quite understand it, but I read it, and it's very interesting. And I do encourage people to check this out. Yeah, it's full frame, and check this out on dpreview.com. I'll do a quick screen share if you get an opportunity and you want a really interesting portrait lens.
Now, this is also manual focus.
Yes.
Okay.
With complete juicy bokeh. You can use it for street. It's just extremely sharp. You can use it for, detail shots, flowers, things like this here.
And I know a lot of people might be scared of manual focus, but manual focus in a digital camera, especially, I'm going to just say all the ones that everyone here has, including the people watching online, manual focus is the exact same as autofocus now. So if you pick a single focus point and you manually focus until that focus point is sharp, the camera's going to beep, it's going to confirm, it's going to tell you it's in focus. So you have a focus confirmation built into your camera. So even if you're manually focusing and you're not really trusting your eyes because you're like me, you have glasses, the camera's still going to help you. So it's not the end of the world not to use autofocus.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Then there is the really cool 50 to 150. The 50 to 150 is an f1.8. This is the Sigma. It's just insane. Sorry, I thought it was 50 to 100. No, it's a 50 to 150. 150. So it's a crop lens. It's about a 75 to 175-ish kind of focal length, but it's a 1.8. So this is something that I'm going to be able to use for wrestling. I'm going to have some decent close distance. I don't need to be too far back like I would with a 300 prime or a 200 prime or something like that. And being 1.8, super shallow depth of field, great for street. So many different applications.
More about like a 225 on a crop camera. Because you're adding. Yeah, you're adding to it. So you'd be multiplied by like 1.5.
Yeah.
And so you'd be about about 75 to 225, which puts it in surprisingly powerful zoom range. So doing your wrestling from across the rink or across the rink. Yes,
wrestling on ice.
Or doing like birds or any type of low light shooting. That could be a fantastic lens.
Oh, absolutely.
But crop sensor only.
Well, either way, I can use it on the Schwartz.
Absolutely.
Sorry, this Laowa 105, is it compatible on a D7000? Absolutely it is. Absolutely. That's the nice thing about the Nikon cameras. Any lens will go back and forth between any mount. They are optimized for certain ones.
Nikon mounts.
Nikon mounts. Did I say Canon?
No, you said any mount, so I'm specified.
Okay, thank God. Because, Nikon specifically. You can use backwards and forwards, where Canon, if you have EFS lenses for the crop sensors, they're not really built to attach to a full-frame camera. So...
Exactly. That's the one nice thing about Nikon is you can use pretty much any Nikon EF style mount lens ever made, and then with Canon you can only use every Canon lens from 1987 to now, one or the other.
Yeah, something like that.
Not that you would want to. Some of them aren't that great.
Yeah, sorry, just 1 second.
I'm answering that.
Oh,
there
good.
we go. And so
we're so efficient.
we're doing something. What are we doing? New firmware.
New
New
firmware.
firmware that somehow makes the lens faster. I'm skeptical. I'm going to admit I'm super skeptical on this.
Okay, so this
Because-
is the Sigma. We got to specify. The
Yeah.
Sigma, the 150 to 600, art or
Lens.
contemporary
150-600.
and sport. Yep. They each have the ability to update their firmware
Yep.
through the dock that you can get from Sigma for like $60 or something.
Okay.
Well, now they've updated the firmware, and apparently they claim to have made your focusing up to 50% faster.
And I'm slightly skeptical.
So why
Mainly
would you be
because
skeptical? Why would you
skeptical
possibly
because-
think a manufacturer wouldn't actually do what they claim?
Well, that's not really the part that has me skeptical. The part that I would always say would slow down the focusing would mainly be the mechanical movement of the glass in the lens. Because you're moving such a large chunk of glass forward and back to get focus, I could see speeding it up a little bit because you'd get rid of maybe redundancies or filter out extra stuff that the lens is trying to do. Because maybe the speeding up communication. I'm really not sure how it's going to be 50% faster. Like 50%'s that's a lot. If it
That's
takes
like
the lens
halfway to 100%.
Yeah, if it takes the lens, let's say 2 seconds to focus on something, it probably doesn't. Let's say 1 second to focus on something. You're basically telling me that it's now going to focus at 50.5 seconds.
It's ridiculous.
Is my math breaking down? I think my math is breaking down.
Your math is still better than my math, apparently.
Don't look at me, because I got nothing.
It's somehow magically getting faster. But for everyone that I know we talk about it a lot, and I imagine everyone knows what it is, but for anyone who doesn't know what firmware is, firmware, in the simplest form, is the software that runs your gadgets. So your camera has firmware, your lens has firmware, and it's basically just the operating system of that device.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they're saying is they're updating the firmware of this lens so it can operate faster. Kind of like what Panasonic was doing.
Panasonic is doing something a little bit cooler, though. So Panasonic has their GH4. It's
Yep.
their flagship mirrorless DSLR, mirrorless interchangeable lens format, whatever that would spell out to. And
Acronyms.
acronyms, gotta love them. So this thing is just awesome. First of all, it does great video. It does 4K video, and now they've added firmware which gives you 4K photo.
Okay.
So I guess it does a
that's
4K
2.5
extraction of image.
megabytes?
Yeah, a decent sized file photo.
It's pretty decent, yeah, out of a video.
Mm-hmm. And post-focus control.
I'm curious. What is post-focus control?
All right,
I was
so this
reading
is-
that.
This is where it gets cool. It actually shoots a video
Okay.
and racks focus back and forth.
Can you select all of the focus?
And then shows you that, and you can select your focus anywhere in the frame. Afterwards.
and then that would
that's
become your
the image-
picture.
Exactly.
So that's kind of like that.
Lytro?
That's it. Thank you. That square camera.
Kind of like Lytro, but
But
video.
probably
It's
better.
actually capturing a video of this, racking focus back and forth, and then showing you that, and then when you select your image, that's where it creates the 4K still.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I am kind of curious of something, so I'm going to look something up as we're doing this.
Even cooler than that, though, Phil, this is a feature that they put on the G7, the
So they're going-
G8X, and the the FZ 300 point and shoot that I've been selling like wildfire. So that is pretty exciting for me, because FZ 300, FZ 200 series is just the best point and shoot in history. So if anybody's interested in a really good point and shoot, and they don't want to get into an SLR, but they want a good bridge, FZ 200, FZ 300 Panasonic, thumbs up.
Now, I was off with my calculation of megapixels. The 4K resolution would technically be, well, not technically, it would exactly be 3,840 pixels by 2,160 pixels, equating out to approximately an 8.3 megapixel image at an aspect ratio of 16 by 9. So effectively, you're going to get probably closer to a 6 megapixel image out of a video, which is fantastic considering a still image from a video currently, let's say you pull one from a 1080p video, is just shy of 1.5 to 2 megapixels.
Why am I all of a sudden thinking of the movie Rain Man?
Well, that's the math that I just got, so you are right.
Yeah.
I trust Google.
Nice. Nice. All right, so that's pretty cool stuff. Either way you look at it.
Especially because you can, with an, let's call it a 7 megapixel image, you can make decent prints with that. You could make like a 3 foot by 2.5 foot print and put it on canvas, and it would look awesome.
That's right.
So focus after.
Focus after. Who needs to focus?
As long as it's a still subject, because a moving subject, you'd probably run into issues.
I spent a whole bunch of words. I made all these different frames, and I told kids all this stuff about focus, and they don't even have to worry about that. They could just buy these cameras and just focus afterward.
Yeah.
No, don't do
soon
that.
That'll probably be stuck into things like this, and then there goes everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's already bad enough when you go to a wedding and people are taking pictures with an iPad.
Hey, speaking of iPad, and speaking of this thing that I did on Monday and Tuesday, this girl named Ji-sun who showed up, she's 12 years old. She had her tablet playing a 3D holographic video or image, and she cut out this little acrylic tent thing and put it on top of her iPad, and it created a 3D hologram on top of her iPad. And then she's like taking pictures of it.
That's awesome.
These kids reinstilled my faith in humanity. I'm telling you right now. They were awesome. Anyway, let's keep going. What else do we have here? That was pretty much it, wasn't it?
I think so.
Then we're going to talk about Bagel Boy for a little while.
Yeah. Which is really cool, because if you've never made bread, make bread. Something about the process of... We're totally off topic. Hey, you know what? Banter.
It's a banter show.
If you've never made bread before, something about making bread, like kneading it, it's so relaxing. Just totally worth doing. You don't need special equipment for it. You need like a counter and hands. So most people are already ready to do it.
And like flour.
Well, yeah, and ingredients. But you can make bread out of flour, yeast, and water.
And nothing tastes better.
Yeah. Just simple stuff. Throw it in the freezer. Stays good. Cut the buns in half after you make them. You got sandwiches for a week. Healthy.
Well,
brought to you by Daytripperphoto.com.
What's that?
I said healthy eating tips brought to you by Daytripperphoto.com.
Lovely. That's how we roll. We're talking about healthy food for the dogs. I mean,
Yeah.
we have to think of ourselves as well, right? Okay, so what else here? Oh, yeah, so I wanted to share one of the photos from the session on Monday and Tuesday. And this is something that I would want in my personal portfolio. Seriously, I thought it was that good. Let me see if I can find it.
So this is the one that you refused to show me earlier.
This is the one I refused to show you. So this young man, who we will call Bagel Boy, he he made this image by himself. After we talked about some technique and said this and that, he made this image by himself. And then when we were doing a review, I did like a 2-second edit, just a quick touch up. He says, I want it to look like this or that. So I was like, all right, cool. So here is the shot that Nick made. Is that up yet?
Yep.
Cool.
Really cool. Zooming focus.
He did the zoom blur.
That is awesome.
And then he's like, I want it to look like this or that. And I was like, all right, well, how about that?
That's really cool.
And yeah, it is. I like it a lot. So I just thought I would share his photo and tell the world how awesome these guys were. And if I get the opportunity to go back and hang out with these guys, I would be happy to. In fact, we created a separate community just for these guys. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, they were into it, very into it. Made me happy. All right, yeah, he smiles. You should smile. That was awesome. Okay, so let's get back to the notes. What else do we have to get into before we can start talking some cool stuff with Walter?
I think that's
pretty much it.
Yeah.
Knowledge.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So now, Walter, you're on the spot.
All right.
This is all you now. We got a half hour.
Okay. We have to fill half hour. No problem.
Half hour. Okay, so I was looking through your website and rescueop.com, and there's a lot of cool stuff on there, just regular products. How did you get into just the regular dog products? How long have you been doing that?
We've been doing it for about a year now. We're actually in the process right now of adding cat, bird, small animal products as well. We were limited to a certain number before. But our passion is dogs, but really our passion is animals also. We try to help however we can to help every animal. But we got a good supplier. Everything's made in North America, so it's safe. It's a family-run business that supplies the products. Nothing from overseas, and they've been around since 1962. So that was very important to us too, to try and keep it in North America to help support North America and get some good products that are safe, the safe plastics and everything.
Well done. Seriously, nothing from overseas.
Not that I know of. No. We've talked to our supplier, and everything's made in North America. Prices are a little bit. They're maybe I'm not going to say they're not as competitive because we have tried to be as competitive as possible, but keeping it in North America, there is that little bit of extra cost that's added. We try to help out the best we can with that, though, because the idea for us is to buy your pets quality products that last a little bit longer than going to the dollar store or wherever, going somewhere where they're just going to chew it. I have 2 Rottweilers, and they'll go through toys very, very quickly. So for me, it's more of a good quality that lasts a little bit longer. It's also easier on your pocketbook.
Better toys than limbs.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Gotta be careful, Rottweilers. So now I was looking through your site. I saw that you had pet video cameras.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah, they're becoming very much more popular nowadays. You're curious to what your pets are doing when you're not home. You can install these cameras on pretty much anywhere, and you can film them throughout the day and see what they're doing. And then you can, if there's something happening that you're not aware of when you're there, or something's going wrong and you're not sure what the problem is, you can spy on them, I guess you could say, or keep them safe. Is how the better way to do it, I guess, is to keep them safe, see what they're getting into, and then you can tell if you can leave them out or not. But you can always check it when you get home. So it's becoming way more popular.
Keep the footage for America's Funniest Home Videos or something like that.
I'm wondering what my dog's doing when we're not here. I'm sure they're just waiting for us to leave, and then they're like, oh, okay, he's out of here, sweet.
Who's that beside you there?
Oh, I got this is Rosie.
Hey, Rosie.
Oh. This is my girl. Hey, here, say hey. This is my girl Rosie. She is 2. She is a German Rottweiler, full bred. Gunner is an American Rottweiler. He is 6. And she's our newest one. We've had her for about a year and a half, about a year now. We got her when she was 1. She's a little more affectionate than Gunner is. Gunner's more of a lone wolf. He just sits by himself.
She looks like a sweetie.
She's my girl here. If she could sit on my lap right now, she would. She's my girl.
Oh, she looks great. She looks beautiful coat. So that must be the raw foods.
All right. Yeah, the egg in the morning helps with the coat being shiny.
Okay, so explain this. What is raw foods?
So raw food is just pretty much chicken, lamb, beef. We get ours grinded up, and then we add some features to it. So we add yogurt, we add eggs, we add bananas, apples, blueberries, just to stuff to kind of add a little bit more than just the raw. You can go with just the raw if you choose to. If you're putting weight on, you can add oatmeal. You can add overcooked rice. If you're trying to take weight off, then you can go with just the raw and cut the carbs. So with her, she's a little bit of a smaller Roddy. She's about 60 pounds, but she's very, very fit. Her and Gunner are both very fit. They're very lean. The vet is very happy with them when they go for their checkup. They have a lot of muscle on them. And with her, we give her a little bit more oatmeal in the morning, just to kind of keep her at a certain weight. With Gunner, we cut the carbs though. He's pushing about 90 pounds. Very, very fit. Good hips and everything with him, but we want to keep him around 85 to 90. That way it's not overbearing on his joints.
So you say you can moderate their weight a little bit better. In other words, when they're lighter, you give them oatmeal, and when they're not, you...
Well, you can cut the carbs totally. We just give Gunner raw. We give him an apple in the morning with it, banana in the afternoon, and then we give a raw egg in the morning. That's good for their coats. Some people put the shells in. I don't choose to. My wife does sometimes, but they have fun crushing the shells and everything like that. So that's also healthy for them. With Gunner though, we just and once a week we do sardines, and they love sardines once a week.
So you mentioned earlier how you have to have a certain kind of house, a certain kind of lifestyle for this. Like it's pretty demanding. You have to be more on top of the foods. You have to order different foods. And where do you get the foods from? Just from the grocery store, or?
There's a number of different suppliers that you can get them from. We get ours from a small business, but you can visit your local farmer. It also supports the local farmers as well, because a lot of the chicken gizzards and all that kind of things they just kind of throw away. There's a local farmer here that I don't deal with directly because we have our business that we deal with, but he has many dog owners that just come up to him and ask him if he has anything left. So what he does is he keeps it all for them, and he puts them in bricks, and then he gives them to them, and they just freeze them, and then he sells them for like $1 per pound. It could be as cheap as that from a local farmer. So you're also supporting local farmers as well.
Nice.
And that's where it all comes from anyway. So.
Well, I mean, this is totally up my alley. It's all local. It's all supporting our economy, and I'm totally for that. I don't know about everybody, but there's folks that come into the store all the time. They're like, well, why don't I just buy from Amazon, or why don't I just get from China? It's cheaper. I'm like, sure, pay China your money. Like, I don't know. I get it. Money is tight, and please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying spend more just to buy in our areas, but when you support, I had a guy one time. He told me, well, why would I care if you're a Canadian company? Like, what's the big deal? Why don't I just go and buy it from the States or something? Like, hello, there's lots of employees that lost their jobs when Future Shop closed. There's lots of employees that would lose their jobs when all these local people close. So how does it not support our economy? It doesn't make sense. So to have somebody like yourself go that extra mile, make sure that your products are built in North America, supporting local farmers, helping animals in our area, finding fosters for people. You find foster homes for dogs as well.
I do have a few fosters, so if I do have dogs that are surrendered, we try to get them into a foster home right away. We work with shelters as well. There can be some animosity in the industry between rescues and shelters, but I don't believe that is a problem with us. We work with all the local shelters. Some of the dogs that I have found for people have been at the local shelter. I try and help out the best that I can. If I don't have a dog that they're looking for that's available to me right now, if a shelter has them, I'll go to the shelter for them, and I'll do the homework for them. I'll meet the dog, I'll assess the dog, I'll give my feedback, and then I'll do all that work. Then they have to just go to the meet and greet and do the process that is required from the shelter. But I still want to be involved to kind of help out if they're going to rescue, because I really want everyone to rescue. So it can be a little bit time-consuming waiting for a certain breed, but I just try to keep with them, as even if they're not getting from my organization, I still try and help them out with any questions that they might have to make the process a little bit easier for them.
And it's about the people, it's about the pets.
That's it, yep.
Awesome, man. Very awesome. Now, another reason I really got excited when we were talking and you said, yeah, sure, you'd be interested in coming on the show, is you've done all kinds of stuff. It's not just for pets. I mean, you did an anti-bullying video.
Yes.
How did that come about? Like, even in your video, you said you weren't bullied. Usually you hear people who were bullied and abused and so on coming out and speaking out about this, but that's not exactly your twist to this.
Yeah, no, and for me, I mean, it's nothing to do with any kind of PR or anything like that at all. It's just I just want to help, and I'm in this position now where with technology, I can get out there and do things like this show or do vlogs and do videos where I can try and get to as many people as possible. And when I was never bullied personally, but I know people that were, and I've always been the kind of person that stands up for other people. That's just the way that I was brought up. You always stick up for people who can't stick up for themselves. So to me, when I saw that pink shirt day, regarding those two students, that student that wore that pink shirt, he was badly bullied. All the students rallied around him and wore pink shirts. That kind of caught my eye about what had happened, and I went and I got the bully T-shirt, which $10 for the shirt went to the cause, and I just wanted to shoot the video. And I'm still a little bit new behind the camera, but I want to make sure that I got out there that if one person sees that video and they can go ask for help or something like that at all, then that is amazing. And I'm just
success.
Yeah, and I'm just I don't use that kind of stuff to promote my business in the sense that I'm using it to get to a certain level. It's a chance that I have a chance to get in front of the camera, and I just try to help however I can. There's a few different causes that I'm very passionate about. And when I first started, one of the biggest problems that I had was trying to figure out which charities to kind of help out and what I wanted to support, because I wanted to support so many, but I was just spreading myself too thin. So I've narrowed it down to a few different charities that I'm very passionate about, and with the bullying one just being something that was kind of near dear to my heart, that people are bullied because of whatever reason. I don't like people seeing people be treated differently for whatever reason.
Well, good for you for doing that. Seriously, kudos for doing that. Now, you said you're getting into video for other things too. Like, what have your experiences been like getting into video? I mean, it's a daunting thing to do, especially when you don't have that experience behind you.
I'm not gonna lie to you, it was a challenge. I picked up, this was the GoPro was the first thing that I actually picked up to shoot the action with the rescuing the dogs and going on missions was with the GoPro. And then I picked up, just on the photography side of things here, I picked up a Canon T5i Rebel, or a Rebel T5i. With the shotgun mic here to shoot the vlogs with, because I found the GoPro was a great action camera, but for still on the tripod, this one here, it being really amazing. It's really new to me, this whole situation with the green screen and everything like that, and it's been a learning curve, which is very exciting though. And that's we would never have met if we didn't go this route, right?
It's true. A good point.
That's what got me in here, right? So it's amazing. I'm not gonna lie to you. When you see the bully video, I'm a little bit awkward once you push record because I'm still learning the tricks of the trade about angles and the CGI and all that kind of stuff. But it's exciting. It's something I never thought I would really go towards. But with the business, it's been so amazing. Open up so many opportunities to learn. So it's pretty exciting.
That's so cool. And it's the learning to me that's really exciting too. Okay, so Nick asked you a question. He said, so what software do you use to edit your videos?
Right now I use Pinnacle Studios. That was my first one that I ever got, and I was kind of steered towards that by some of the people in the industry as a good beginner tool. And it has been great. It's Pinnacle Studios 18. Okay. It's amazing. It's very user-friendly to start out with. I'm looking to upgrade though to Adobe Pro or something like that with a few more different options because I feel that I've kind of used a lot of what Pinnacle has to offer. It's an amazing program. I think I'm going to go to one of the bigger Final Cut Pro or something like that. I'm just trying to figure out which one is the better one.
And you're working on a Mac, right?
I'm working on a
PC.
On a PC, yes.
Okay, so yeah, I was going to say if it were a Mac, you would be able to use iMovie as just like a free kind of software to get into. I think Nick has a Mac, so I would just use iMovie. That's what I used for pretty much any video I've ever worked on. I used Final Cut for a little while, but yeah, then my hard drive crashed and I lost Final Cut.
That's a whole different beast right there, sitting in front of the computer for 10 hours and you don't realize it. But it's so exciting because the finished product is so cool. And when we did the videos on my website, you can see the editing there and how I'm just still learning a little bit on jump cuts and how to insert pictures and all that kind of stuff. So I'm still kind of starting out, but it's pretty exciting to go down that road because I never thought I would be going down there.
Phil, you just did a whole class on video. Did you cover any of that stuff?
Not so much on the editing side, but anytime I've edited kind of personally, it's been a mixture of things like Final Cut or even a little bit of iMovie.
Yeah. Have you got any some advice to help Walter out a little bit?
Practice.
Yeah.
If you're looking to get like a handle on video and whatnot, as far as the editing goes, there are a ton of YouTube videos out there that will get you into a little bit more on the how-tos of video. Like I was trying to get a while ago, I ended up shooting a commercial for myself for another thing, and I had a terrible sound to it, and it had a very kind of hollow sound. You could hear the buzzing in the background, even though I had an external microphone all set up. So what I ended up doing through Final Cut, jumped on YouTube, looked up how to clean up the audio, and within 20 minutes of watching a couple different videos, I got the hang of it, and I was able to get rid of a lot of that excess kind of background noise. So I'd say if you're not 100% sure on something, someone's got a video or has a document on how to make it work, and it really just comes down to practice and getting familiar with the software. Now, I will say that something like Final Cut is not the most intuitive piece of software out there. You look at software like Photoshop or Lightroom, it's relatively click it and something happens. With things like Final Cut or Premiere, it's just not that intuitive. It's just a lot of practice.
A lot of practice.
And that's why I thought the Pinnacle was a good starter. And then I'm getting emails from Pinnacle about the Ultra. So going to the Pro, which I might just go that route because, like Brian, like you were saying at the store, just go with what works. Sometimes changing isn't a good thing. If I like Pinnacle, I like the way it's going. So I might just buy the Pinnacle Pro because I know the screen. I know because I have heard that about Final Cut and Adobe. They're they're not user friendly.
They're different.
Yeah, you need to have a little bit more experience before you jump on those. So I might just stay with the Pinnacle and go down that road.
I'm one of those guys. I always like to focus on one thing. Like there's some people out there for photo editing, at least they'll have 12 different softwares that they use on one, Lightroom, Corel, all that kind of stuff. That's all great. If you can absorb all that and use it, that's all. Blake, my buddy Blake, he's phenomenal for that kind of stuff. Where myself, I just want to do what I need to do. Do it so it's clean, doesn't look all nasty and not overdone, and do something fun. But it's the same with video.
And yeah, it's just finding the one thing that works for you. And as soon as you really get into one of the video software kind of ecosystems, sticking with it is probably the best bet. And so going from one level to like the pro level, sticking within one ecosystem, whether that's going from like Premiere Elements to Premiere or going from the pro level, it as long as you get the software, that's the important part. Because trying to relearn something every time you buy a new piece of software is going to make you just not enjoy anything.
Or even just updates from one model to another, like 1 year to the next year. Yeah. Just a simple update. I was using iMovie, then they updated it, and it was impossible. It would not work. I couldn't import the things the way I wanted to. Nothing worked. And then I ended up going Final Cut, and it was like iMovie used to be.
Yep.
And then iMovie updated, or sorry, Final Cut updated, and then that was unusable for a while. Like, no, stick to what you know.
Absolutely.
But that's cool. Have you got other plans for new videos?
I do. I have a couple different ones. I just shot the Rafu one actually the other day. I shot it with the GoPro, so it's more like an action video of me making. Because a lot of people, that pet expo that I went to a few months ago, everyone saw my shirts and stuff, and they're asking me what I feed my dog. It's on a lot of people's mind. A lot of people have been asking me to do vlogs about the raw foods. They actually can see it. So the vlogs about that. I've got vlogs about Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Thanking people. I got different videos about different breeds, about shelters. We're trying to do some educational videos. Some people will email me and ask me, my dog's pulling on a leash, and I'm not a trainer by any means, but I know a lot of great people that are trained and that I can definitely learn from them. I can get them involved. So I may not be the source to go to directly, but I know the people that I can get involved. So some people ask about educational videos, and I definitely, we have a lot of plans for the vlogging upcoming. I just want to get the editing and everything under control first and get my website done with all the products, and then the vlogs will start coming out. I got 3 vlogs right now so far, and I got more that are done. I just wanted to kind of tweak them a little bit, and then if people want to see something particular, they just send me an email, let me know, and then I'll definitely see if I can do that for them.
Cool. What email can they send stuff to?
The email is info@rescueop.com. It's Perfect. On my website. You can contact me through that there. That's the best way. Let me know what you're thinking or what you had a question about, and if I don't know the answer, I'll find out the answer for you. Or if you want to see a vlog on something, I'll definitely can shoot it for you when I get the proper information. Cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I know a lot of the folks in our community have dogs. I know Rachel with Charlie, and Chris with Bacon, and I mean, there's so many really amazing dogs. It's funny, actually, Bacon.
That's the best. That's the best name.
Oh, seriously, this dog is amazing. So I've had this calendar on my thing here for a while. This is the Bacon calendar. There's
so I want a bulldog so bad. I've always wanted bulldogs.
That's Bacon and Eggs right there.
What do we? Fun calendar.
Yeah. Well, Chris Kowalewski, she made this. There's St. Patrick's Day bacon. Let's see, what else do we have here? She's done some awesome shots. Hang on, I have to show you these because they're hilarious. There's BLT, bacon, lettuce, and tomato.
Awesome.
Yeah, so she loves her dog, and that's raw food.
That's amazing. Yeah.
This is one of my favorites.
Canadian bacon?
Canadian bacon. All right. But unfortunately, this is from 2015, so if Chris is watching and you've made new calendars, I think I'm due. I want to have a chat. Anyway, I sidetracked very easily. That is the Banter Show. That's the whole point. Okay. Thank you, Walter. You did great, man.
Thank you. This is exciting. Thank you so much for having me. This is great. Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about before I move on to the next little tidbit of knowledge?
No, just if anybody has any questions, they can contact me at info@rescueup.com regarding the raw food diet, or I can try and steer you in the right direction, or any issues about any kind of products or events coming up. I've got some fundraiser events coming up this year that will all be posted on my site when I get my events page up and running. You can like us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and that will keep you up to date with what I'm doing for fundraisers. I'm just trying to secure the 2 charities that I definitely want to get involved with. I'm a big advocate for PTSD. people that suffer from that, trying to get the dogs that are involved with helping them as well, for first responders and for soldiers. So we've got a couple of things on the go that we're really excited about. The vlogs will be coming out soon, so if anybody ever needs anything or assistance with anything, just to please send me an email and let me know how I can help.
Definitely, and I encourage everybody to do so. Walter, if I can help in any way, let me know. Great stuff, dude. We'll get you back on when you have these other things that you need to talk about.
I'd love that. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so let's move along here. We're going to talk just a quick bit about some upcoming sessions. I've got our quote of the day, and then we're going to say "Sign your ara." So, well, not quite, because that sounded pretty stupid, so I'm not going to say that again. But anyway, so upcoming sessions that we have coming. I'm super excited. There's some big stuff happening for Daytripper, and I hope to have this locked up by the end of the month. And April 1st is going to be a huge day if all is good in the world. And if that is the case, then we're going to have some pretty interesting location. We're going to have a great location to do our sessions. Yes. Like the wedding session and like our Navi Noom Masterclass, which is coming up on April 16th. You guys know Navi. Navi is one of the super genius photographers that we know. She used to be a co-host on our show for many episodes. Funny, smart, talented, but one of the best portrait photographers that I've ever worked with. So she's running a masterclass session for Daytripper on April 16th. It's going to be up on our website shortly, but if anybody's interested in that, please let me know in advance, because there's only going to be a limited number of spots available for it, and I will have the email going out to the world about that hopefully by tomorrow night. And also our annual spring waterfalls session up in Algonquin Park is coming up April 24th. Love that session. It used to be just Algonquin. We'd go into Highway 60, drive across, look for moose and stuff like that. Now it's more of a specific thing for waterfalls. So we're getting up nice and early. We're going to shoot waterfalls. We're teaching the techniques of slowing shutter speeds down and getting that milky-looking waterfall effect. We're getting up there nice and early, so we'll get steam coming up off the water. And, awesome. Can't wait. And that's April. But May, we have two of our more popular sessions. First off is the Birds of Prey session. Now, this is already filling up. We've got quite a few people who've already registered for the Birds of Prey session. It's going to be held in Bowmanville, out in your neck of the woods there, Phil.
It is.
Past there a little bit. At the Ontario Falconry Centre. So we're going to be teaching photography, teaching how to shoot action photos of birds. They're going to be flying the birds to us, at us, around us, through us. Well, maybe not through us, but there'll be birds flying all over the place, and very controlled, very controlled. Sam is the man. He knows what he's doing, and it's just the experience is something like you won't get anywhere else. He literally stands behind you and calls the bird, and you can shoot and get that whole progression as it comes right over your head. Or he'll do side to side, and he'll put the bird in a tree and have it launched to us, and it's just the best environment you could possibly learn how to shoot wildlife with a camera, because that's how we roll. Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. That's May 15th, the Birds of Prey session with the Ontario Falconry Centre. And on May 29th, we have the Wedding Photography Masterclass with Navi and Gabriel. This is the second time we've done this session. We'll have a bride and groom, beautiful, beautiful bride. Adriana, she was our model for one of our other portrait sessions. Awesome-looking girl and very photogenic. Like, really, really great photos you'd take of her. We'll have the dress, we'll have the groom wearing a nice suit, we'll have the cake, we'll have decorations, and we're going to get into everything from the business end to the shooting end to the social media side to how to market yourself. Navi and Gabe put together a phenomenal session, I guess you could say, and it's about a 10-hour day. It's a long day with a lunch break in between and models and different sections. It's an awesome, awesome event. Last year, we held it on the coldest day of the year. It was awful.
Hopefully May 29th won't be.
No. Well, that's why we pushed it back. The session was phenomenal, but it was very cold. We did this at the Gladstone Hotel, and they have brick walls, and it was so cold in there. I felt so bad for the bride. Mm-hmm. Yeah, stuff like that.
There's something interesting about that class, because you can win either Navi or Gabriel.
You can win them.
Yes,
and
you can win them
home.
Yes.
Kind of, yeah.
You put them in your camera bag, and you can take them out for one day.
Yeah, not really. Actually, that's not how it goes at all. Basically, the way it works is you have the opportunity, it's going to be a door prize, for one of the people who come to the session will have Navi or Gabriel be your second shooter at your next wedding job that you get. And having somebody like that chirping in your ear as you're going, talking about stuff like that, invaluable. Andrew says he's looking forward to the wedding session again. He hopes. Just have to work out a few details before booking it. That's awesome, Andrew. You were at the last one we did, and this one's going to be a lot different. We're going to have some of the same content, but they're changing it up like crazy. They're adding a lot of new stuff and completely new topics, and I'm very excited about that. Okay, so, sorry, Walter, where did you send those? Which email?
It's the one that we were talking to before.
Okay. So you wanted to share some photos?
Yeah, I just wanted to show people a little bit what it looks like when they get it. There's different pictures online about, raw sitting in dog food dishes, and some people don't like the look of it. I just wanted to show you what we do with ours and how ours comes, just in case. That's one of the questions I get very often is how do they pack it, and then how do we serve it, and all that kind of stuff. So I just sent over a couple of pictures about how we get it to show you that it's. And yeah, again, this is all just my opinion and what works for our family and for our dogs. If you have any questions about the internal parts of it, you have to contact someone who's definitely a professional. Any kind of supplier can help with that. But this is what we do, and a lot of people are asking what I do and what we do for our dogs. So I just want to kind of show you how it looks.
Cool. So I've got the photo up. What can you tell us about what you see here?
So these are just the dishes here. So it comes in a big box, all ground up, and then we just scoop it into the dishes. But now the next one, the frozen one there, the bird's eye view. This is how it comes now frozen. So it's actually easier. It comes frozen and ready to go and done. So all you do now is you thaw that out the night before. You thaw 2 of them out the night before, and then you add your veggies and stuff to it, your yogurt and stuff after it the next morning. So that's how it comes. It used to be a little bit more involved, but these containers here, you can just throw it if you like, or you can reuse them.
So you have 2 carnivores there. Phil has an herbivore for his pet.
Some of them eat substantially too much, but it's okay.
So Winnie and Tequila are for little dogs. Is this the same kind of thing that they can get into?
It's something you definitely. Yes, I mean I have a lot of friends and customers that have pugs or teacup poodles and those little small type dogs. It would be a lot less. I'm right now about $100 a month for 2 Rotties to feed them with the raw, which is not bad at all. And then with a few added extras on there. But they're great for puppies and that kind of thing. But that's something there where you definitely would have to contact a vet or someone who can definitely. Steer you in that right direction.
Just to get a professional opinion.
Yeah. And this is what it looks like in the morning. This was this morning. We put some blackberries in there, some apples, bananas in the evening. I gave him an egg this morning. We throw some yogurt in there. That's how it looks as a finish.
You keep saying eggs. So do you boil the egg? Do you just crack it in there?
Or raw egg. You just crack it in there. You can leave the shell in there if you'd like. When we do put the shell in there, we do break it up, but they like to play with it and crunch it. It is good for them. We've seen with ours, it's been very very healthy, very good for them. That's what we're we were told from day one, and we've noticed a great change with them with doing that. I don't put the shells in. My wife does, but they do like it though.
Why don't you put the shells in?
I just crack it and just move on. I don't like to crack it up small and that kind of stuff. It's just, for me, it's just time. Got
it.
Yeah.
No worries. Okay. And there they are.
Those are my 2 there. There you go.
Nice.
Oh, so cute. Yeah. They look like they're in great shape. I mean.
Yeah, they're very fit. Gunner is. I wish I had the picture to show you where he's up on the window. You can see his muscle in his body, but yeah, they're at a very healthy weight. The vet, when we go there, the vet loves them. Says that they're exactly where they should be for hip issues or for any kind of health issues.
Cool.
And we try and keep them at this weight all the time.
Nice. We have a question. Nick asked, do the dogs ever get sick from eating this type of food?
No, not our guys. When they eat grass, that kind of stuff, but nothing that has led us to believe there's any kind of issue with this at all. Their poop's a little bit less. Not that we want to talk about that, but it's a little bit firmer.
It's not the first time we've talked about animal poop on our show. So.
Or possibly
yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
No, if they were in the wild, right? This is what they would eat in the wild, and that's why we chose to go this way. It's the most natural thing that we could find. So no, they do not get sick because of it. No.
Cool. Thanks for asking the question, Nick. All right, so what else do we have here? That's pretty much it. Just to remind everybody, the current photo challenge is raw, which is why this whole topic has been on raw foods for dogs, because it may inspire somebody to think of something different for their photo. We have until this coming Wednesday to do your photos. That's our review show. It's going to be a fun show, actually. We have an interesting photo challenge to give for next challenge. I don't know why we would have that, but it'll be fun.
Okay.
Also, we have a quote for the day, and this quote was more influenced by my experience this week, getting to hang out with the kids, and I don't even want to call them kids. They were seriously more fun to hang out with than most of the adults that I know. They were a lot of fun. So here's the quote. This is from Carl Jung. He says, "One looks back with appreciation to the brilliant teachers, but with gratitude to those who touched our human feelings. The curriculum is so much necessary raw material, but warmth is the vital element for the growing plant and for the soul of the child." Carl Jung. I like that too. You know, basically, we've all had teachers that have taught us. You know, whether they're strict or whatever, they teach. They have a curriculum. They go over what they have to go over, and then they go home. It's the teachers that go the extra mile. The teachers that you could tell care. They give you inspiration. They motivate you. They get to your level so that they're not talking down to you or up to you or sideways to you or something. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's you're a teacher. You're an educator, Phil. You know what it's like. I mean, you can sit there and preach to people, and then they're just going to go home and ignore you for the rest of your life, or you can involve them, and you can get them excited. So I hope I achieved that Monday and Tuesday. It was my first effort at teaching a group of this kind, and I had a great time. So thank you to the McMichael Art Gallery for calling me in. Thank you to Mark from the Vaughan Film Festival for recommending me for it. Thank you, Mark. And also, the Vaughan Film Festival is coming up. We should probably say something about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that'll be in May. And once again, Daytripper Photo is the official photographer for the Vaughan Film Festival, and we will be going out there in force with our crew, shooting the events all through the week, and they have all kinds of... Last year, I shot their a zombie makeup event. It was awesome. a cool thing. They had makeup artists show up, and we were taking pictures. They brought students in. They showed how to apply zombie makeup. I did a time-lapse video of CJ, Mark's girlfriend, getting all the makeup done to her. The funny thing, though, CJ since then actually now works at the Von Henry's store, which is small world, kind of cool. Speaking of small world, one of the young students who I was teaching, Richard, actually bought his camera from me a couple of days before the event, and he's like, "Yeah, I have to buy this because I'm doing this thing at McMichael." I'm like, "Oh, really? I'm the teacher for that. That's pretty cool."
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, and before we leave, I'm just going to share a photo because it's something that the kids inspired me to do. Again, I hate saying kids, but whatever. We were doing light painting, and we were trying all kinds of cool stuff, and they had some great ideas. And like I said, that one girl with the hologram that she was doing, and Nick with all the other stuff he was doing, and Emil and all these guys doing great, cool things with the light painting. So, of course, I wanted to come home and try something that I've been working on, or at least thinking about shooting for a while, and I kind of got inspired last night. So I apologize if this startles anyone, but this was my attempt at doing a kind of a zombie-themed light painting. At Halloween, I got those little candies, these things down here. These are like tiny little candies. I held one up a few minutes ago. Super small. I had to put a piece of tape down so I can stick them in so that they'd stay standing up like that. And I used the light wands and stuff like that around it, some red lights on the zombie face in the background. And that zombie face is just a little tin. Oh, Nick says it looks lit. Do you know about this expression, lit?
No.
Apparently this is the new thing that kids are saying. It's like,
Okay.
It's a
I'm
good
old,
thing.
so no.
I'm old too. That's what I told them. I'm old. I don't get that. You gotta speak my language, Nick. Come on.
Groovy.
So anyway, that's inspired by these guys. So they really made me happy this week. So it was a lot of fun. And this is the zombie face. Just a little tin. Oops. Sorry, that was loud. Just a little tin of candies of mint that taste crappy. I'll never eat them. They taste like a zombie brain. Anyway, that's it for us, guys. That's the show for tonight. Thank you, Phil.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me again.
Always a pleasure.
As always.
And Walter did a great job, man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate being on the show, and I had a lot of fun. This is awesome.
Cool. Well, you'll be back. We'll talk more.
I hope so.
I'm sure I'll see you at the store if you need more help. And in the meantime, and in between time, I hate that expression. Oh, there's a wrestling guy that says that. I can't believe I just said that. Anyway, until we see you guys next week, I hope you have a great week. Keep shooting. Don't forget your photo challenge raw. Submit your photos to the weekly photo challenge page in the Daytripper photo community, and we will talk about them next week. All right, that's it for us. Have a good week, guys. Take care.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Oh, good night, everyone. Nick says, and Andrew, good show as always. Oh, that's very kind. Very kind. All right, peace.